You know, when you've lived long enough, you start to realize that the smallest things in life can make the biggest difference. A little more sleep, a bit less stress, and believe it or not, what's on your plate can change everything. And if you're someone who's been battling those awful leg cramps that sneak up on you in the middle of the night, making you wince and grab your calf in agony, then you're not alone. Leg cramps are one of those silent nuisances many seniors endure, but few talk about. And what if I told you that some of the fruits you've been eating thinking they're good for you might actually be making things worse? Yes, fruits. Those sweet, juicy bites we've always been told are packed with goodness. Now, don't get me wrong. Fruits are nature's candy, and they've got plenty of benefits. But as you get older, your body isn't quite the same as it was when you were younger. It reacts differently. Sometimes, even the healthiest foods can trigger discomforts you never expected. And when it comes to leg cramps, there are certain fruits that can quietly contribute to the problem without you even realizing it. But before we dive into the specific fruits you need to watch out for, let's talk about leg cramps for a moment. Because to truly understand why some foods can trigger cramps, you need to know what's going on inside your body when that sharp pain strikes. Leg cramps often feel like your muscles are twisting into a knot, don't they? And usually they come without warning. One minute you're resting peacefully, and the next you're jolted awake by that unbearable tightness. It's frustrating, isn't it? What most people don't realize is that cramps are often linked to imbalances in the body, particularly with minerals like potassium, magnesium, and calcium. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at maintaining these delicate balances. Sometimes, even if you're eating well, your body might not be absorbing nutrients the way it used to. And that's where the problem begins. Now imagine you're eating something every day that further throws these minerals off balance. It's like adding fuel to the fire without even knowing it. Some fruits are surprisingly high in natural sugars, and while sugar itself doesn't directly cause cramps, it can affect how your body processes and retains essential minerals. Others might be loaded with compounds that, in excess, can interfere with muscle function. And as we grow older, our bodies become less forgiving. Think of it like an old car. When it's brand new, you can fill it up with any kind of fuel, and it'll run just fine. But as it ages, it needs more care, more attention. The wrong fuel, even if it seems fine, can cause problems under the hood. Your body is the same way. And when it comes to leg cramps, the fuel you're giving it matters more than you think. Now, I know what you're thinking. Fruits are healthy. How can they possibly be harmful? And you're right to ask that. After all, we've spent most of our lives hearing about the benefits of fruits. But here's the thing. Not all fruits are created equal, especially when it comes to muscle health in your golden years. Some are high in sugar, which can dehydrate you, a major trigger for cramps. Others contain high levels of certain vitamins that, while beneficial in small amounts, can lead to imbalances if you're consuming too much. And let's not forget that as we age, our bodies process food differently. What worked for you at 30 or 40 might not work the same at 60 or 70. It's not that these fruits suddenly became bad. It's that your body's needs have changed. It's like switching from regular milk to lactose-free as you get older. Not because milk is bad, but because your body now reacts differently to it. I remember sitting with an old friend a few months back. He's in his late 70s and has always been mindful of his diet. But he kept complaining about these terrible leg cramps that would wake him up every night. He'd tried everything. Stretching, staying hydrated, even those magnesium supplements. Nothing seemed to work. And then, as we sat talking over a plate of fresh fruit, it hit me. Every day he was eating the same fruits, thinking they were doing him good. But one of those fruits one he loved dearly, was actually making his cramps worse. Once he cut it out, he called me up a week later, amazed at how much better he felt. Sometimes it really is the little things. So, why does this happen? Why do certain fruits, which are supposed to be healthy, end up being problematic? It often boils down to the balance of electrolytes in your body. Your muscles need the right balance of potassium, magnesium, and calcium to function smoothly. Too much or too little of any one of these, and you're likely to experience muscle cramps. And while fruits are generally good sources of these minerals, some can either deplete your stores of these essential nutrients or overload your system, leading to that painful muscle tightness. Think of it like a seesaw. When everything is balanced, you're fine. But tip too far in one direction, and you're in trouble. Some fruits are high in fructose, which can increase your body's need for certain minerals. Others are high in substances that can cause your body to lose more fluids, and with fluids go those vital electrolytes. It's a delicate balance, and as you age, that balance becomes even harder to maintain. Now, I'm not saying you need to swear off fruits entirely. Not at all. Fruits can still be a wonderful part of your diet, but it's about being mindful. It's about knowing which ones to enjoy in moderation, and which ones might be better to avoid if leg cramps have become a constant bother. We'll get into the specific fruits soon, the ones that, despite their sweetness and charm, might be secretly contributing to your nighttime cramps. But before we do, it's important to understand this. Your body is your lifelong companion, and like any long-term relationship, it changes over time. What worked in the early years might not work now, and that's okay. The key is to listen, to adapt, and to make the small changes that bring you comfort. Now that we've laid the groundwork, let's start peeling back the layers on this issue. You see, leg cramps don't just happen out of the blue. They're often a sign that something inside your body is out of sync. And while many factors can contribute, like dehydration, medications, or even just sitting too long, what you eat plays a bigger role than most people realize, especially as you get older. It's like your body's trying to tell you, hey, pay attention to what you're feeding me. But often, we don't hear that voice until we're jolted awake by another painful cramp. Let's start with a fruit that's often praised for its sweetness and versatility: grapes. Now, don't get me wrong, grapes are delicious. They're easy to snack on, they go well with cheese, and they're even the foundation for a nice glass of wine. But here's the thing. Grapes are high in natural sugars, particularly fructose. And while a little sugar is okay, too much can throw off your body's balance. You see, sugar increases the amount of insulin your body needs to produce. And when your insulin levels rise, your body starts to lose more magnesium through your urine. Magnesium is crucial for muscle relaxation. Without enough of it, your muscles are more prone to cramping. So, while a handful of grapes might seem harmless for someone struggling with leg cramps, it can quietly contribute to the problem. I remember talking to a neighbor once. She loved her afternoon snack of grapes, always had a bowl sitting on the table. But she also struggled with terrible leg cramps every night. When I suggested she cut back on the grapes, she looked at me like I was crazy. "But they're just grapes," she said. A week later, she called me up and said, "You know what? I haven't had a cramp in days." Sometimes the simplest changes make the biggest difference. Then there's pineapple. Oh, pineapple. The tropical delight that feels like a mini vacation with every bite. But did you know that pineapple is rich in bromelain, an enzyme known for its anti-inflammatory properties? That sounds good, right? Well, not always. Bromelain can actually increase the breakdown of certain proteins in your body, including those that help regulate muscle contractions. Plus, pineapple is highly acidic. Acidic foods can alter your body's pH balance, making it more difficult to retain essential minerals like calcium and magnesium. Without these minerals, your muscles are more likely to cramp. And trust me, I've seen it happen. A friend of mine swore by pineapple smoothies every morning. But the cramps? Relentless. It wasn't until she swapped out the pineapple for a less acidic option that she found relief. And here's one that might surprise you. Watermelon. Now you're probably thinking, wait a minute. Isn't watermelon mostly water? Isn't hydration the key to preventing cramps? Yes, watermelon is hydrating, but it's also packed with natural sugars. And just like with grapes, too much sugar can lead to a loss of magnesium and potassium. Plus, watermelon is a natural diuretic, meaning it makes you urinate more often. And every time you do, you lose not just water, but also electrolytes. It's a vicious cycle. You eat watermelon thinking you're staying hydrated, but in reality, you might be depleting your body of the very minerals it needs to keep cramps at bay. I had an uncle who loved watermelon. Every summer, he'd sit outside with a big slice, juice dripping down his chin. But those summer nights, full of restless legs and painful cramps, it wasn't until he cut back that he realized the connection. It's funny how the foods we love the most can sometimes be the ones causing us the most trouble. Now, these are just a few examples, but the pattern is clear. Many fruits, while healthy in their own right, can disrupt the delicate balance of minerals in your body, especially as you age. It's not about demonizing fruits or cutting them out entirely. It's about awareness. It's about understanding that your body isn't the same as it was when you were younger. It's more sensitive. Now, it needs more care, more thoughtfulness. I often tell people that aging is like learning to dance with a new partner. You can't expect to move the same way you did years ago. You have to adapt, to find a new rhythm. And part of that rhythm is being mindful of what you eat. Because every bite, every sip has an impact. And it's not just about cutting out certain fruits. It's also about replacing them with options that support muscle health. But we'll get to that later. For now, it's important to recognize that not all fruits are created equal when it comes to leg cramps. Some, like grapes, pineapple, and watermelon, might be doing more harm than good. So, the next time you're reaching for a snack, think about how it might affect your body. Because sometimes relief from those painful cramps isn't found in a pill or a stretch. It's found in the choices you make every day. And trust me, your body will thank you for it. We've already talked about a few surprising culprits: grapes, pineapple, and watermelon. But believe me, there are still more fruits that, while seemingly harmless, can quietly contribute to those painful leg cramps that haunt so many seniors. It's a strange thing, isn't it? All your life you've been told to eat more fruit, to stay healthy, to keep your body nourished. And now, in your golden years, you find that some of those same fruits might be working against you. It almost feels unfair, but that's the thing about aging. Your body changes, and sometimes it demands adjustments that you never saw coming. Let's talk about a fruit that's often hailed as a superfood: bananas. Now, I know what you're thinking. Bananas? Aren't they full of potassium? And isn't potassium supposed to help with cramps? You're absolutely right. Potassium is crucial for muscle function. But here's where it gets tricky. Bananas are indeed rich in potassium, but they're also high in sugar and starch. And for some people, especially seniors, consuming too many bananas can lead to an imbalance. Too much potassium can actually be just as problematic as too little. It's like adding too much salt to a dish. What was meant to enhance the flavor ends up ruining it. Plus, bananas can sometimes cause bloating and water retention, which can make muscle cramps feel even worse. It's about balance. One banana here and there? Probably fine. But if you're eating them every day, thinking you're doing your muscles a favor, you might actually be making things harder for your body. I remember my own grandfather. He loved bananas. Every morning, without fail, he'd slice one into his cereal. But he also had the worst leg cramps at night. He tried everything. More water, less coffee, stretching before bed. Nothing worked. It wasn't until his doctor suggested cutting back on bananas that he saw a change. Within weeks, the cramps eased up. It wasn't magic. It was just his body finding its balance again. Then there's oranges. Oranges. The classic source of vitamin C, the fruit that's supposed to keep you strong and ward off colds. But here's what most people don't realize. Oranges are highly acidic. And when your body becomes too acidic, it can interfere with the absorption of essential minerals like calcium and magnesium, 2 minerals that are critical for muscle function. Without enough of these minerals, your muscles are more likely to cramp. Plus, oranges have a lot of natural sugar, which, as we've talked about, can lead to the loss of these vital nutrients through increased urination. I've known so many people who start their day with a glass of orange juice thinking they're doing something healthy, only to find themselves wincing in pain later. It's a cruel irony, isn't it? And let's not forget about tomatoes. Now, I know, tomatoes are technically a fruit, even though we often treat them like a vegetable. But for seniors struggling with leg cramps, tomatoes can be a hidden enemy. Like oranges, tomatoes are highly acidic, and that acidity can wreak havoc on your body's mineral balance. Plus, tomatoes are rich in a compound called solanine, which in some people can contribute to muscle pain and cramps. It's not the same for everyone, but if you're someone who eats a lot of tomatoes, whether in salads, sauces, or sandwiches, it might be worth paying attention to how your body reacts. I had an old friend who loved his spaghetti dinners, but his nighttime cramps were unbearable. It wasn't until he cut back on tomato sauce that he finally found relief. Sometimes it really is the little things that make the biggest difference. So there you have it. Bananas, oranges, and tomatoes. 3 more fruits that, while seemingly innocent, can contribute to the muscle cramps that plague so many seniors. It's not about labeling these fruits as bad. They're not. But as you get older, your body's needs change. What was once beneficial can become problematic if not managed carefully. I often tell people that aging is like learning to speak a new language. Your body communicates differently now. The signals aren't always clear, but they're there. And when you start paying attention, really paying attention, you begin to see patterns. You begin to understand what your body is trying to tell you. And when it comes to leg cramps, sometimes the message is simple. Be mindful of what you're eating. Because here's the thing, leg cramps might seem like a small problem, but anyone who's experienced them knows how disruptive they can be. They steal your sleep, your comfort, and your peace of mind. And when you're already dealing with the challenges that come with aging, the last thing you need is one more thing making life harder. That's why it's so important to be aware of the foods you're eating. Not out of fear, but out of respect for your body and the journey it's taken with you all these years. We've covered a lot so far. Grapes, pineapple, watermelon, bananas, oranges, tomatoes. 6 fruits that, while often considered healthy, can contribute to the muscle cramps that so many seniors struggle with. But here's the good news. Awareness is the first step to change. And now that you know what to watch out for, you can start making adjustments. Small changes, really, Nothing drastic, but sometimes it's those small changes that bring the biggest relief. So here we are. We've talked about the fruits that can quietly contribute to those frustrating leg cramps. Grapes, pineapple, watermelon, bananas, oranges, and tomatoes. It's eye-opening, isn't it? To think that something as simple as the fruit you eat could have such an impact on your body. But now that we've laid it all out, the next question is, what do you do about it? Because knowing what to avoid is important, but it's not the whole story. The real key is finding balance. Knowing what to replace those foods with, how to nourish your body in ways that support muscle health, and how to build daily habits that keep those painful cramps at bay. First things first, hydration. I know, you've heard it 1,000 times. Drink more water. But let me tell you something. Most people don't realize just how crucial hydration is. Especially as you age. Your body doesn't retain water the way it used to. And even a slight bit of dehydration can throw off your electrolyte balance. And when that balance is off, your muscles pay the price. It's not just about drinking water, though. It's about staying consistent. A glass here and there won't cut it. Make it a habit. Keep a glass of water by your side throughout the day. Sip on it, even when you don't feel thirsty. Because by the time you feel thirsty, your body is already playing catch up. And while we're on the topic of hydration, let's talk about alternatives to those fruits we've mentioned. Instead of watermelon, consider cucumbers. They're just as hydrating, but without the high sugar content. Cucumbers are also packed with magnesium and potassium, 2 minerals your muscles crave. Add them to your salads, snack on them in the afternoon, or even infuse your water with a few slices. It's a simple swap, but one your body will thank you for. For those who miss the sweetness of grapes, triberries, blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries are lower in sugar but rich in antioxidants. They support your overall health without messing with your body's mineral balance. And if you're someone who loves bananas, consider avocados. They're also high in potassium, but with healthy fats that support muscle function without the sugar spike. A little avocado toast in the morning or slices in your salad can make a world of difference. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Changing my diet at this age? That sounds overwhelming, but trust me, it doesn't have to be. It's not about giving up everything you love. It's about making mindful choices. Start small. Cut back on the fruits that might be causing you trouble and introduce more muscle-friendly options. It's a process, not a race. And beyond food, there are other ways to keep leg cramps at bay. Gentle stretching before bed can do wonders. Just 5 to 10 minutes of simple stretches can help relax your muscles and improve circulation. A warm bath with Epsom salts, even better. Epsom salts are rich in magnesium, and soaking in them helps your body absorb this vital mineral through your skin. It's soothing, relaxing, and incredibly effective. Another often overlooked tip: pay attention to your footwear. As we age, our feet need more support. Wearing shoes that provide proper arch support can improve your posture and reduce muscle strain, which in turn helps prevent cramps. And if you're someone who spends a lot of time sitting, make it a point to get up and move around every hour. Even a short walk around the house can improve circulation and keep your muscles happy. I remember a conversation with an old friend who struggled with leg cramps for years. He tried every remedy under the sun, but nothing seemed to work. When we finally sat down and talked about his daily routine, it became clear that small changes were all he needed. He swapped his morning banana for an avocado, started sipping water throughout the day, and added a few minutes of stretching before bed. Within weeks, he noticed a difference. It wasn't about making drastic changes. It was about being mindful, and that's really the heart of it, isn't it? Aging gracefully isn't about making your life harder with complicated routines or rigid diets. It's about listening to your body, understanding its needs, and making small, thoughtful adjustments. It's about respecting the journey you've been on and giving your body the care it deserves. So if leg cramps have been keeping you up at night, know this: you have more control than you think. It's not about perfection. It's about awareness. Cut back on the fruits that might be triggering those cramps. Stay hydrated and nourish your body with foods that support muscle health. Add a little movement to your day. And don't forget to take moments for yourself. To rest, to breathe, to simply be. Because at the end of the day, your body has carried you through so much. It's weathered storms, celebrated joys, and endured challenges. It deserves care. And sometimes that care is as simple as choosing the right foods, staying hydrated, and giving yourself the grace to make small changes. Relief is possible. Comfort is within reach. Sometimes it's just a choice, a way, and remember, you're not alone in this. Every senior faces changes they didn't expect, but with awareness, patience, and a little wisdom, you can navigate those changes with grace. So here's to restful nights, cramp-free mornings, and a body that feels supported every step of the way.